Hi, I'm Tim Perry on behalf of your Carrier dealer, and we're going to be talking about the Infinity Control and how to program it. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up this door, and you see some buttons. The first one we're going to look at is the basic setup button. So the setup and then basic. And what happens here, I just press that button and I'm able to set the hour and the minutes. So if you have to adjust that, you can see this particular button has a clock on it, plus or minus, and then this particular button has a like a thermometer. So when you're doing things with regard to time, you press this button. So if we went into different, like daylight savings time, I need to adjust that, I would adjust that down or up. Now that changed the hour, and I'll move that back. Now if you want to change the minute, then there's also a scroll button, and that allows you to move down to the next row of information. So then again, you change the minutes, plus or minus, what have you, or you can change the day of the week. And then this bottom row here is where you set your humidity level that you need in your home. And you can see there are 9 squares there. So the higher the filled in squares, the higher your relative humidity will be. And the nice thing about this Infinity Control is that it uses an outdoor temperature sensor, so that as the temperature outdoors gets cooler, the actual relative humidity set point is reduced, so you don't have fog or moisture on your windows. So generally speaking, the better your windows, the higher you can allow this to be moved. So I can move this up or down based on what I'm trying to get to. If you have windows that aren't so good, you probably want to back this down somewhere in this area. So, and then we're done. It says press basic to exit, and now we're done with our basic setup. Now you'll notice that if I've made some changes there, so if it's asking me, do I want to save changes? So you don't panic. I mean, if you make changes and you don't want to save them, all you have to do is hit no, and that's exactly what I'm going to do by pressing this button over here to the right. So that's the basic setup. Now here's the advanced setup. And what we're going to see is a number of screens. The first one has to do with reminders. Do I want to be reminded when my air filter becomes dirty and needs to be serviced? And I definitely recommend that you have this left on because it will help you keep your system running in peak efficiency. So I have it on, and then I have a humidifier. Do I want to be reminded when the humidifier pad needs to be changed? And I want that to be on as well. So you'll notice then also it says that this is screen 1 of 9. So we'll go to the next screen, and it is the contrast. So how much contrast do I want the display to be showing? And I can change that. Or the next one is the backlighting. How much backlighting do I want? So I can increase that or reduce that as I like. And then the heating and cooling lights. Do I want those on? Those are these lights here. We're in heating mode right now, so the red light is on. And if we were in cooling mode with the heat lights on, the blue light would be showing as well. So I definitely want those on. And then you can actually play around with different styles of font. And that is the meaning of that. So we go to hit next, and now we're going to 3. Again, this is where we can again adjust the humidity set point. Or we scroll down to the next row of information, which is humidify. And this is in auto, and that's the feature I was talking about. When the outdoor temperature reduces, the humidity set point will be reduced as well to keep fog from developing on your windows. So you definitely, I suggest you leave that in auto mode so it auto adjusts your humidity level. We go to the next screen, and this is the cooling humidity set point. Another nice thing about the Infinity Control is that it measures the humidity level and then can bring your system on just to dehumidify. And so this is where you set your humidity level. I have mine set at 52%. I can move that up or down based on my choices. And then again, you scroll down to the next row of information, which is dehumidify. Do you want that to be set up to come on? Do we want the system to come on only when dehumidification is required. And that again is a great benefit of the system, and I would leave that on. But if for some reason you wanted to turn that on or off, you can turn it off by selecting up or down. Okay, we go to the next screen, and now we have our vacation set points. So when I am on vacation, I can set this up to set back, and the temperature you can choose, the minimum, the maximum temperature, and the minimum and maximum humidity levels. So you can scroll down to adjust those. And then we also can adjust whether we want the fan to be in auto mode. In other words, the fan only comes on when the system is in heating or cooling mode, which makes sense when we're not here. So that's why I have mine set up in auto mode. I'll talk a little bit more about the fan on in a future segment. Okay, now we're to the unoccupied temperature. This particular system is a zoning system. So when zones or rooms in the house are unoccupied, you can have your minimum and maximum temperatures set here, and your minimum and maximum humidity levels, and also your fan setting. Do you want it on or auto? So that's the meaning of that screen. We go to the next screen, and this is where you can change the zone names. So I have my zone names already named here, but you could change those names on this screen or set them up for the first time on this screen. And then we go to slide or screen 8 of 9, and this particular system is a hybrid heat system, and I have it set up like that. So again, that's where you can use a gas furnace or a heat pump depending on which utility is more efficient for the given outdoor temperature. If I wanted to turn that off and make it a furnace only system, or if I wanted to make it a heat pump only system, I would scroll down to those areas. And that's the meaning of that screen. I certainly don't want to change those. I like my hybrid heat system, and I save money by having one. And then the last screen here this is a system access module, which allows me to remotely access this thermostat from anywhere in the world using the internet. And it's simply telling us that the auxiliary sensor is enabled. So that is the meaning of that particular slide. So now we're done. We've gone through all 9 setup screens in the advanced setup, and so I'm going to turn those off, and away we go. We're back to our normal display. Now the other sections here, we can schedule the setback times and temperatures, and I'll select the schedule button here. I just pressed that, and now we're looking at my dining room and living room set points. What you see are 4 different times of the day: the wake time, so when we first wake up; the daytime, so when our day is moving on; the evening time, when we come home from work typically; and then our sleep times. So we have various times and various temperatures in the heating mode and the cooling mode. So let's take a look. Let's say that we are now getting up earlier in the day, so I can adjust this time button and hit the negative on the time button, and now we're getting up at 5:45. So let's say now that I actually want it to be warmer in this particular zone. You can see the heating set point temperature 68 is flashing, so I can adjust that up by pressing the temperature adjustment button up. Now if I wanted to change the cooling temperature for this time slot, I would go to this blue button on the side of the thermostat, and now you should see the cooling set point temperature flashing. So we can make out these kinds of modifications in all of the various time slots, if you will, during the course of the day. Now one thing I'll tell you is that we're looking at an all-day setup, so all of my days have this exact same schedule. Let's say I wanted a different schedule for the weekdays versus the weekends. You can see the weekdays sign here pointing to this arrow, and I press that arrow, and it's again asking me if I wanted to save the changes. I actually don't. But now we have the same kind of screen, but it's only for weekdays, and so I can make those adjustments if I want to. If I wanted to, now after I've set this as I like, and I now want to look at my weekend schedule, Then I press that button, and we see my weekend schedule. And if you have a desire to have a different schedule on Saturday versus Sunday, you can press the Sunday button after you set up, which now would be Saturdays. And we press that button, and now we can adjust our Sunday times, temperatures, etc. Okay, so we're done with the schedule, and I'll press that schedule button. Okay, the last button here is the vacation schedule. So let's say I'm going on vacation, and I can press this button here, and now it is asking me how many days long is this vacation going to be, how many days. So I can adjust that up by pressing the time button, adjustment, up. And then also, if I wanted to actually change the temperature that I would like the home to be during my vacation, I can adjust that up or down as need be. Now in the center you can see it says press vacation to start your vacation. So now I'm set up, I'm going to be on vacation for a long weekend, 4 days, and I press the vacation button as it's telling me to do. And it's asking me, do I want to start my vacation? And if I am going to start it, then I hit yes. And here we go. It says the vacation is initiated. So now I'm in vacation mode. And those are all the buttons. Now if you come back from vacation early, you can press the vacation button again and cancel your vacation. And you hit yes or no. I'm going to cancel this. And now the vacation settings have been canceled, and we're back to normal operation. If you have any questions, contact your Carrier dealer or visit carriercomfortteam.com.